Hello and welcome everyone to this review show. It's not the result that we were looking for. Anirudh might be an exception. I was dressed
Yeah.
up for two occasions, my cousin's wedding and hopefully to celebrate India's win, but didn't happen. But I've kept my dress on so that people can know that I was hopeful. But it is what it is. I think sport is very much like life. It really pushes you down when you are at your hopeful best, and then when you think that things are not going well, it spurs you up. And today, unfortunately for Indian fans and the Indian cricket team, it was the case of former. But congratulations to Australia. You have to say they soaked up the pressure well. They were the better team on the day, the way they bowled, and I think the way they fielded. Not just saving those many runs, but just the angles was something that told you that they really done their homework very well. It's going to be a bitter pill to swallow or a harsh pill to swallow. Nikhil, coming to you, first thoughts on the game?
See, we discussed this right from the start of the preview that so far whatever India have done, it's worked, and you'll hope that they have another such day. Uh, I don't think there was again people will be out with their knives about could they have batted better, could they have shown more intent, should they have gotten 20-30 runs. But given how conditions changed in the second innings, I don't think even having 40-50 runs would have made a difference. I think this game is probably apt to how the World Cup started, and it is ended in exactly similar way that a team gets to a score which you feel at half phase it is competitive. Oh, it is holding up a bit, it's not coming onto the bat. But eventually in the chase you realize that even if you had 40-50 more, it maybe wouldn't have mattered. Yes, you can say they would have approached it differently, but you could see the shots that were being played even in the power play from Australia. It gave you enough signs that how much risk India had to take, and as compared to how much onto the bat, head was getting in the line of the ball, full ball, and getting driven. So kudos to Australia for firstly doing the basics right, and that's just a very, 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 very harsh lesson for a very good Indian side that cricket is such a condition dependent game that sometimes if you don't get the right end of it, you'll look very, very weird and out of it. But it takes nothing away from Australia. They won a very good toss. We discussed about this being the best case scenario for Australia, that they bat, that they bowl first, make whatever use of the conditions that are there with the ball, and they did that very well. So kudos to Pat Cummins. I think he's really come through as a leader for Australia in this one.
Yeah, Pat Cummins now has a lot to add to his CV. He's won the World Test Championship. He's won the ODI World Cup. He's drawn an Ashes series in England. Probably could have won it as well. And maybe 2024 in the Caribbean, he could really complete that treble. Anirudh, uh, how happy are you as an Australian fan? And what do you think really clicked for Australia, and where did they really get ahead in the game?
So, I mean, see, first of all, I feel we all, I think, spoke about the fact that for any team to beat this Indian team in the form they were in, it required a perfect performance, like almost a 10 out of 10 performance. And I truly feel that Australia put out a 10 out of 10 performance. I really can't fault them for anything. Yes, the only thing was probably they lost the 2-3 wickets in the power play, but their intent was clear. They knew that they had to break the chase in the power play. And at least until Marsh was there in the crease, they did that. They got like 40 odd runs in the first 3-4 overs. Uh, so look, full credit to Cummins and all the other Australian players. He walked the talk after he said that he wanted to silence the crowd, and honestly, for the last 3-4 hours, it felt like Australia were playing India in front of an empty stadium because I couldn't really hear anything. I could even hear the wicket keepers talking. I could hear the bowlers talking. It was so silent, and I think ultimately that was in itself a reflection of the match. How much Australia just dominated India from probably from the start of the Rohit Sharma wicket till the end of the match. It was complete domination. So I feel they are deserved champions. They have beaten every single team in the competition. They started with losses against India and South Africa, then went on a 7-match winning streak, and then beat South Africa in the semi-final, India in the final. So it's like a full circle for them. So they were the better team on the day, and I truly feel because now they have beaten every side in the competition, and also they have done it away from home in front of 130,000 people in India's own backyard. I don't think anyone can say that they are not deserved winners. It is an absolutely stunning performance.
Now, is it fair to say that Travis Head is the new poster boy of Australian cricket, maybe along with Pat Cummins?
Poster boy. Do they have poster boys? Because this team itself has many. Like you can tell the same about Maxwell. You can say the same about someone like a Mitchell Stark, Warner. So I don't think that superstar culture will exist. But yeah, I mean, look, he's seamlessly filled. You know, I can't even say the void left by anyone because Warner is still playing. But look, I have to really bring up one point, which is I think is very pertinent. I have to give a lot of credit to Aaron Finch for this victory. He could have easily chosen to play until the 2023 World Cup, but he retired with one less than 1 year left for the World Cup. And that is what fast tracked, enabled Australia to fast track the development of Travis Head. That is what enabled Australia to put Travis Head up the order alongside Warner and give him 1 year to play and get accustomed to that opening position. So full credit to Aaron Finch. He did not really drag on and go on. He could have easily went on because look at his CV. He just won a T20 World Cup 18 months ago, and I'm sure that if he had gotten 100 here and there, he could have easily dragged it on and played this World Cup. But he knew that his time was up, and he knew that the transition had to be made now, and he did it. And I think what we are seeing today is a byproduct of the Aussie ruthlessness, which is it came from Finch, the selflessness that okay, I'm done, I'm not good enough to play at this level, I have to step out, and he did it. And 1 year later, it has paid real dividends. So hats off to Finch. I'll have to say that as well.
Yeah, there is Travis Head, who Australia, stuck with despite getting injured. But there was another player who was not a part of original squad. Many were touting him to be the replacement for Travis Head, but Ashton Agar also got injured, and then Marnus Labuschagne, made it to the World Cup squad, and he was also there at the end to see through the chase. Nikhil, talk to me about his innings, and can we draw some parallels with KL Rahul's innings if we were to?
Which one? KL Rahul innings with?
Manas.
No, I
In
don't
the
think
first
you
one,
can. To be,
Marnus.
you can't. I don't think you can. It will be terribly unfair and unjust on KL Rahul because conditions were not even remotely close to what they were, and it is very different and difficult to compare those knocks when you know a score is in front of you and the platform is set, as opposed to when you know there is very little batting to follow and you are having to set that total up. So I don't think it will be fair to compare those two. Again, Marnus, see, like this, the theme of this Australian side has been they've had one person step up massively, and they've had many people play supporting roles. Today, you saw that supporting role being played by even with the ball also, by Josh, by Pat, by uh, with the bat. You saw how they began as well. They were happy to take those risks early on, but you saw how Manas was happy to take his time because he knew Head will be the guy who will get those fences. His job was to hold an end, and he did that. And see, that is the bit about cricket. When it works out, it looks, oh wow, it's worked out, it looks great. But when it doesn't, it looks like it's the reason for the loss. So I think uh, Marnus right through the World Cup, ever since those South Africa series, I think it's just that perfect summary. Australia were in trouble in that ODI. Marnus comes in, how
Concussion
concussion
sub.
sub,
Yes.
concussion sub. A concussion sub Marnus Labuschagne. We need a filter for this kind of data because there is no other way that Manas was going to become a part of this squad. So he was part of the squad and he's played crucial role in every single game. We talked, which is why we wanted him. We discussed about why Marnus over Stoinis because Marnus has batting potential, and Anirudh talked about the possibility of them being three down early, and it
Yeah.
happened exactly like that. And it's just a person playing his role to perfection. So I think kudos to Manas for having a very good World Cup right through. He's gotten a lot of starts.
No, from what I meant to ask you was in terms of holding one end and wanting to bat through. I felt Manas was
Yeah.
outstanding in the sense
Sorry.
that he because he knew head was going very well, and he knew that if India don't get a wicket, the intensity will go down. So I felt that till the time he felt that Australia are comfortably ahead in the game, he did not even attempt a cross-batted stroke. I mean, he hardly gave Jadeja a chance. He learned from his mistake in Chennai where he played a cross-batted sweep. Yes, the conditions were different. I was just talking about the approach in wanting to
Acha.
bat through. But
Ah,
yeah, Nikhil, could India have done anything different with the ball?
no, I don't think so. To be very honest, they tried their best. I mean, the very fact that they opened with Shami with the new ball told you that this is what had to be done. Uh, And see, Shami did beat Travis Head enough from around the wicket also. So did Bumrah. It's just one of those things when it works for you, it works for you. It doesn't. The pace of the wicket meant that they could not go very short very early because the ball was doing a bit. So then, had they gone short, it would have meant that why are you wasting the new ball? You have the swing it available, and they were beating the bat at that point of time. It never got away from them. But I think it is probably around the same time in both innings that at one stage the ball started to grip and hold, and in the other innings the ball started to come onto the bat a lot better once the dew set in. So it's just Travis had played the percentages, and they deserve all the luck because they did those hard work in the first inning. So I think you make your own luck, and you can't do anything about it. Rohit also took a lot of risk in the first half, and it worked out for him. And so was the case with Travis Head. And the conditions were such that Travis Head could keep going, and he went on and scored a brilliant run.
Yeah, you you spoke about Rohit taking risk and it worked out for him. I'm not sure if everyone will agree to it, but I'm sure you guys would have had some discussion on that in the mid innings show. So I'll move on to the next bit. Anirudh, coming to you, who do you truly think was Australia's MVP? Was it Travis Head, coming in later and giving them the resurgence? Was it Warner who really set up a few games for them early on? Was it Maxwell or was it Cummings or was it Zampa? So, who do you think really was their MVP in this tournament? By the way, before I answer that, I just want to say that I was the only one who said that Australia would be the winners, and I said it because everyone was saying India. I was like, कि किसी को तो अलग बोलना पड़ेगा, and that is one prediction I hoped would never come true, but it did.
Yeah, coming to your question, it's very hard to pick because, like what Nikhil said, Australia have found a way to play the perfect World Cup wherein they have had one person play a significant role in every match and a couple of others chip in, and you have had certain people perform consistently throughout the tournament. I'd give an example of Maxwell with the ball. His economy is under 5, and when people said that, when we knew that Ashton Agar was ruled out, we were like, well, in India with one specialist spinner, good luck. And then Maxwell has arguably been the best off spinner in the entire tournament, right? Like across teams. Nobody even looks at him like a part timer anymore. And this is in addition to the 200 he scored against Afghanistan and 100 he scored against Netherlands. And see, Cummins has flown under the radar, but I think after today, people should truly appreciate the efforts he's put in, not just as a captain but also as a bowler in this World Cup, where he's broken the most number of 50 plus run stands. He's broken 650 run stands, which is more than any other bowler. And if you look at the number of set batters he's dismissed in every match, today he dismissed Virat. He dismissed Miller in the previous match. He dismissed Coetzee. He dismissed Kusal Pereira and Nisanka when he had scored 50s. He dismissed Rachin Ravindra. He dismissed David Malan when he was on 50, 60 in Ahmedabad. So, again, Cummins has been extremely consistent. But I would say if there's one player who's pushed Australia from being a dangerous team to a truly, scary team, I think it's Travis Head, because the moment he entered into the team in the Dharamshala match against New Zealand, I feel the complexion of the entire team has changed. The complexion of the tournament has also changed. He comes in and smacks a 59 ball 100, and then you suddenly have the opening partnership going, absolutely ballistic from both ends. And also he's brought in X factor with his fielding, also his bowling as well. He bowled 2 overs for like 5 or 6 runs today. Let's not forget that as well. And also he took the wickets of Klaasen and Janssen in the previous match. That also proved to be extremely game defining. So for him to score 50 in the semi-final and follow it up with 140 in the final is just in the situation he was in. Like you won't be surprised if Travis Head scores a 140. In general, in while chasing in a venue like Ahmedabad, but when Australia are 40 for three, having lost three quick wickets, you expect one of those three wickets will be Travis Head because of his high risk approach. But yes, he had luck. But for any team to beat a monster like India at their own backyard, you need luck. It's ultimately about what you make out of it. Like Williamson had luck, but he got out for 50. In that 2 days ago, Travis Head didn't have any drop chances or any like LBW calls that were missed or anything. He had a few plays and misses, which every batter has, and ultimately that's what he accepts while going out to bat, that look, I might get out for zero, I might get out for 60, but I'll play this way. And Australia also have accepted that. So if I have to pick one player of the tournament for Australia, I'd pick Travis Head, just purely because he came in and turned the entire complexion of the World Cup around with his X factor.
Fair enough. There's a question that has come in by Akhil Nair. Nikhil, you said that India couldn't have done anything different, and you've already said that going with Shami was the right call. Anirudh, do you feel the same?
Look, it's a gamble they took and it didn't pay off. So again, as Nikhil said, I don't know how much they could have done with the ball. I would like to actually ask Nikhil and you, Gurkirat, both about that comment about the pitch. Do you think India's obsession to prepare slow wickets ultimately cost them the final? Because if you look back, it became a win toss win match situation. Yes, Australia were brave and opted to bowl, but we didn't even see the same match in the first innings and the same match in second innings. It felt like it was played on a completely different pitch due to the dew factor and all. So, do you think India kind of shot themselves in the foot by wanting to somehow prepare a very slow pitch that they felt would ultimately, help them?
So I think this has been an obsession, regardless of which team management is there or which coach or captain combo is there. And I've been observing this for a decade. I have always felt that when you make such pitches which decrease the gulf in the quality of your spinners and the opposition spinners, you're not helping yourselves. And in conditions and situations like these, you then become reliant on the toss. I know Rohit said that he wanted to bat first, but I don't think, I think he was only playing mind games because India chose to bowl first at this venue. Having said that, I don't think that can be used as a excuse or a complaint or whatsoever, because even on such pitches, you do possess batters of the quality of Gill and Shreyas, who you expect to take down spin. Both of them getting out early really played a part, and had both of them again got out early versus New Zealand, Santner could have very well, really tied India up in that game, with even Phillips coming in and rolling his arm over. So it was something which I don't know India have tried or chosen to have, or we not even sure if the mandate came from the team management. But yes, playing on slow pitches, regardless which format India play at, really doesn't help them, because it just takes out the entire gulf, or the difference in quality between the Indian spinners and the opposition spinners. And I'm not taking anything away from Zampa or Maxwell. Zampa and Maxwell have been phenomenal throughout the tournament. I thought Zampa versus England here in the second innings, bowling with the dew, probably delivered one of the best bowling performances in this format. So it's something India will have to live with. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think just to add to the point about the pitches, see, the biggest problem that I have with the way pitches are thought or perceived as is, it takes away the excellence that the team has. The
True.
conversation then always becomes around, oh, it is the pitch, array, but this is the pitch. If you are winning 10 games on the trot on wickets that are different across the country versus different opponents, then you have to be showing that confidence in the side also, that you'll give it a very good wicket and you'll trust the team to get the job done. See, it is something that we discussed for test as well, that Paji touched upon about the Gulf. But my issue is it just gives you a undue talking point in terms of it takes away the entire performance from the team, that then you're discussing about the pitch and whether you need. This team doesn't need a particular pitch to win. It has shown you enough times, time and again. But it's just the obsession of the people that are there in the system who feel ke they get the advantage, so should we. You should. There is no harm, but there has to be just a way to balance it out. As you rightly said, I don't think in this game, to be very very honest, India could have done anything that could have changed the conditions. I'll go back to the same example of the first game. England could have gotten 350, New Zealand would have chased it. India could have gotten 300 today. It would have been tougher, but Australia still bat deeper. It would have still been a game where you would have felt that India were always a few short, because cricket is condition dependent. And if the difference is so vast in terms of, as you said, while batting first and while batting second, you are going to look very very down and outrightly stupid that array they scored so many, they were hitting the balls on the up, so many sixes, and you couldn't hit one boundary in 97 balls. So it is just what it is. Hopefully all the right lessons are learned, unfortunately the harshest way for India. Hopefully this is another such one.
Yeah, rightly said. Sorry, I got lost in my thoughts there. I felt like Nikhil, when he takes that note, will probably continue with the sentence or not, and I just lost my thought. So
Very nice.
yeah, so sorry for that. But uh, biggest now, like we discussed, that probably India couldn't have done anything else given how the conditions and the pitch played out. Nikhil, coming to you, biggest positive for India from this game? No, sorry, not this game, but the campaign. Yeah, because
Bhai, this is as good a slower ball that Pat Cummins bowled to any of the Indian batters, because I was like getting ready to say something and the ball never arrived.
yeah,
But
yeah,
see, it's just a game to forget for India, and I don't know what people feel about it. Uh, Before this game, nobody saw this coming. Let's be very very honest. 6 hours prior, 8 hours prior to this game, nobody saw the side losing in this manner. And there are always risk attached to whatever you do, to the kind of pitches you play, to the kind of combination you played. Now today is the day you would miss batting depth, or today is the day you'd feel, array, but we don't have that actually batting. The bowler is better, and the bowler has worked for you. So why would you change it? So I think today is the day to just accept that a team played better than you on that very given day, and that is how harsh knockouts are. They require you. It doesn't matter what you have done all through in the last few games. On that very given day, if you're not able to get to terms with how it is going to cost you. There will be a lot of people who will say that we are blaming conditions, but it is what it is. It's You're not just blaming conditions. India were 80 for 2, as you rightly pointed out. Have If you have Shreyas here batting deeper, or even Rohit batting deeper. Now, see, it is something that you will discuss now in hindsight, that in every single game you took a Rohit Sharma 40, saying that he's giving you the platform so that the others can bat deep. So why would you not take it today? So it is easier to say that in hindsight that you wanted the guy to go on and score big, but that's the risk. India played to a template, they could not execute it to the best of their abilities, and they lost. So there's no shame in accepting that. This was a side that was winning 10-0. This was a side where people think, how can Australia upset India? So it just tells you how good the side was. Anirudh mentioned about the margin of wins for the side. So I just feel sometimes many of us are just chasing glories. Okay, when it's everything fine, we are all happy, hunky dory. Array, this is great, this is great. But when it doesn't, we are the first ones to throw daggers at. See, I told you, KL Rahul cannot bat at this rate. Cannot this guy cannot. I mean, today is the day everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. You have lost. I asked this in the internal group as well. I don't remember when was the last time India lost two very quick back-to-back wickets. Today is probably the first such occasion where I feel the third wicket stand has been so less. I don't recall
it
any
just
such
happened in the first game and this game
first game. Exactly,
and
that's
this.
what I'm saying. It's the very first time after that first game that India lost two very quick wickets. It is the first time you gave Shami the new ball and he couldn't have control. It's the first time you saw KL misfield. it's okay. It happens. People can have terrible days, and you cannot call this a choke or associate this with anything else that has happened in the past. I don't know if you can call it a new mistake, but it is just what it is. I think people just need to accept that there are two teams that are playing, and one team can outbat or outplay the other. It is as just simple as that.
No, now my question is, because a lot of comments are coming in around this, and I understand a lot of these comments and questions are probably more coming from an emotional place rather than, really trying to accept the rationality of the sport. But how how would you advise, this is a question to both of you. I'm not sure if Anirudh has experienced something what a lot of Indian cricket fans have been experiencing, but how would you advise, Indian fans to sort of cope or accept this defeat? Because now with the Indian cricket team, it's been a pattern post 2013, 2014 final. They were unbeaten till the final and they lost. 2015 unbeaten till the semis and lost. 2016, yes, they weren't in the best of forms, but they were expected to beat that Windies side. 2017 again, uh, they were overwhelming favorites going into the final. 2019, we all know what happened. So my question is, from the end of fans, from the side of fans, how do you accept and move on from this defeat or this disappointment? I'm not talking about myself, because I have again watched a lot of cricket in the last 20 years to treat both win and loss as an equal. But Nikhil, coming to you, because you've had more experience than me in this regard, anything to say on this?
No, I'll let Anirudh go first for having a different POV, and then I'll come in.
Bro, I'm an Arsenal fan. I've been experiencing it for the last 20 years. So, you know, it is like, I guess it's very difficult. I can relate to it. Like last year, especially the way Arsenal were top of the league for 90% of the season and still lost the league. It is very hard to cope, because it's okay if you are bad and then lose. It hurts when you're good and then you don't get over the line, and it hurts even more when you're good for 95% of the competition and then still don't get over the line. uh, I don't know. I mean, you just have to wait for the next tournament to start, and you'll probably start with the hope. The hope will get rebuilt slowly again, and then you have to cling on to hope the moment the next tournament starts, because you know, luckily we have like an ICC tournament every 6 months or whatever for the next 4 5 years. So it's not like it's going to be a long wait, but I agree, it's the World Cup is such a prestigious event, like 50-over World Cup. It is by far the most prestigious event, and uh, in that way it will be very uh, it will hurt. Like there is no sugar coating, I guess. Like it will hurt a lot of people. The expectations after the semi-final, after what happened in the first 10 matches, it will hurt. So maybe Nikhil can say how he's coped with it for the last 7 8 years or whatever.
Yeah, see, as I said it some time back that for me it happened in 2017 itself. Even more, the final nail in the coffin was 2019, where I just stopped expecting. And again, it's a very it's a very tricky phase as a fan. Of here I am speaking on a very personal note, not thinking about anything else. But see, when you look at the game from a lens of a fan, it is always going to sting. You will have nights where you'll not be able to forget. You're just thinking, "Arey, that Travis said, couldn't he slip and the ball slip away from his hand?" You'll think, "Arey, Siraj, sir, couldn't English, just find a way to fumble it, or maybe the ball would not touch the edge." Had Kale, that inside edge from Virat just missed past the stumps. But see, the more you watch, the more you realize a lot of these things are uncontrollables. You can only attach yourself, your expectations to things that you can control, is what I have realized over time. Of course you enjoy when the side wins, but it is a sport. Somebody will win, somebody will lose, and when you lose, as Anirudh said, it's tough. It's easier to accept that you are bad, and you feel that okay, you have in your mind a reason that okay, this is what I'll blame in my mind, that this is the reason for the loss. But when you are so good and you lose, Maybe it's with time that it comes to you that you look at the game from a very objective lens, that where did it go wrong. And when you start to look at the game from a very different lens, from a very objective practical lens, maybe that's when you'll probably come to terms with the fact that it will not always happen, right? Someday this will also change. It is not that it won't. uh, you can take an example of, I don't know, very good example, bad example. Chennai have lost a lot of finals, but they still found a way to win the 2018 one. They found a way to win the last one, but they have also lost a lot of finals. But what it just tells you is you just have to go with the flow. I think that for this team, I think they did everything that they could in all the games that they played, in every single department. Going into the game, the only worry that you had was Siraj ka control. But if you look at it now, we are again second doubting that, oh, could Siraj have bowled with a new ball? Yesterday, people in spaces were saying, let's drop Surya for Ashwin. Surya is anyways not going to bat. But these are the things that you have to realize with time, that everything comes with risk of working and not working. All you have to hope on that very big days, everything works for you. Australia's campaign is a very perfect example that you don't need every 11 guys to perform on the very given day. You have to find one person who steps up, and you have to find enough people to support that person to get the job done. And eventually, you look at the T20 World Cup win, you look at the WTC win, you look at the Ashes win that they had, you look at this win. Every single tournament that they've won in the recent past, it's told you that you just have to find a way on that very big day. Now, I can't put a finger to say that, because I don't think for this team there is a pattern that this is what has gone wrong. I don't think they selected the wrong people. I don't think they, even if they had won the toss and they wanted to bat first, it would have been a wrong call, because we also thought the same, that batting first, that's what's been working so far. So why would you change? There was an anti-duce spread done as well, but if conditions are such and you're not able to adapt, you will lose. So maybe the quicker we all get to terms with that reality, that where did we lose, maybe then it becomes easier to cope with it. And next time you are, maybe you're not clinging on to everything, because see, we all like our teams to win. But I don't know it. I could just go on and on, but it is what it is for me, that I have completely stopped expecting. You can look at from my face, K. If this was me 6 to 7 years back, I would have been silent or crying, or I don't know what. But sometimes when you've seen enough losses, things just change you from inside. And actually, COVID did that for me as well. So different perspectives to life.
Also, just one final point on the defeat part. Ultimately, even if you're really scrutinizing the reason for the defeat part, like cricketing reason for the defeat part, maybe we'll just look back at the fact that on a pitch like this, batting first, none of the Indian top four batters scored more than 60. Like nobody posted a huge score. We've been advocating for sides, how important it is for sides to have one of their top four get a big 100, especially on a slow track like this. Once you get in, you have to make it count. You had two players who are supposed to be the guys who are supposed to dominate the middle overs. Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer, they got out for single digit scores. And Shubman Gill was, again, everyone, he's not had the best of World Cups, but everyone believed that he truly bossed Ahmedabad because of his past records. He has an incredible record there. For him to get out the way he did in the first 6 overs, then for none of the top four to even go past. I mean, two of them got really set, Rohit and Kohli, and they couldn't get 100. And then you look at the other side, Travis Head scores 140. So it's a stretch for sure. But if there's even a small reason I could look at that, okay, this is why India probably lost, I probably will look at it, not the pace at which Rahul batted, or not the fact that they didn't bowl the right lengths, or not the fact that uh, they didn't score 30 more runs or whatever. It's just that they let Australia control the game from the very moment Rohit departed for about the next 80 90 overs. So once you let a team control 90 overs, I don't think you can say that this is the reason we lost. So I feel that's where the defeat
Yeah.
lies for India.
Yeah. In fact, for me, that Shreyas dismissal is for the turning point of the game, because, like I said, that both Gill and Shreyas were instrumental in going after the New Zealand spinners in the last game. Today, both of them were dismissed and did not happen. But it is what it is. I don't think there's anything much left to discuss. I'm not sure of if we'll be doing another review, but I just want to thank all the viewers who've turned in right throughout the World Cup from 5th of October to November 19 today, to watch our preview and review shows, and along with it give us a lot of love and support for the work that we have done. I'm not speaking only on my behalf, but on the behalf of the entire cricket.com team. We have truly loved that you guys have tuned in, send in your comments, your questions, sometimes even your frustrations and disagreements. We don't mind that. Please keep sending it, because a lot of sport analysis is subjective. We are bound to differ, as long as we are differing in civil ways. Let's just keep it that way, because I think that's the basic etiquette that all of us look forward to. We'll be back soon, because these days there is so much of cricket happens that you cannot really even soak in the happiness or the sadness of a result. 4 days from now, there's the first T20I between India and Australia. So please be there. So yeah, there's that. And please do subscribe to cricket.com if you haven't. Please follow us on social media. You guys know Anirudh's not on social media. I've been really trying him to get on social media, but I don't think he'd want to be. But Nikhil and I are there. You can always ping us, ask questions if there are any. And thank you, Darshan. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's been great doing this show. We absolutely loved it. And we look forward to having all of your company whenever we do the next review show or a live, which is tomorrow's the Monday Light Live, or tomorrow's not happening. It's happening or it's not.
There,
So
there, there should be one. Hopefully, we'll confirm that.
yeah, but we look forward to the presence of all of you joining in. So thank you so much. It was great doing this, and hopefully, the next ICC event we all come up geared once again with a lot of hope, a lot of expectation, and maybe next time is when it comes truly home. Thank you so much.
Three
Goodbye. Good
words.
night.
Three words. 3 words. We keep trying. Cheers.
Yeah.